What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the MMA Cage Talk. There is a lot happening across the UFC right now, so let's jump straight into the biggest stories making waves. As always, before we get into it, make sure to drop a like on the video because it really helps support the channel and keeps these updates coming consistently. We'll start with Ilia Topuria and the latest updates surrounding his highly anticipated return to the octagon. With everything going on in Topuria's personal life, the timeline for when fans would see him compete again has been extremely uncertain. Topuria hasn't fought since last June, when he delivered a massive performance against Charles Oliveira to capture the lightweight title. Since then, a combination of personal matters and division-wide changes has left many wondering when, or even if, he would be back in the near future. With Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett now set to face off for an interim lightweight title on January 24th, some people have even speculated that Topuria might not return until late 2026. However, Topuria recently gave fans something concrete to hold on to. On social media, he confidently stated that the award for Knockout of the Year in 2026 would belong to him as well. That comment immediately sparked curiosity, and when a fan asked him directly about his next fight, Topuria replied with a clear time frame, saying April to June. When asked who that fight would be against, he made it even more interesting by saying it would be the winner of the Gaethje versus Pimblett fight. That timeline is definitely intriguing because, in theory, if the winner of that interim title bout comes out healthy, an April return wouldn't be unrealistic. At the same time, it raises the question of whether the UFC might want to save Topuria's return for the White House card rumored to take place in June. That kind of stage would certainly fit the magnitude of his comeback. Topuria also didn't hold back when the topic of Islam Makhachev came up. After a fan suggested that Makhachev would submit him if they ever fought, Topuria fired back with a sharp response, saying it wouldn't happen even in Makhachev's dreams and questioning his ability even to dream properly. It's the kind of confidence fans have come to expect from Topuria, and it only adds more fuel to the idea of a future super fight between the two. The question now is whether you believe Makhachev's grappling would be enough to shut Topuria down, or if Topuria's confidence and finishing ability could change the narrative entirely. Another major rumor gaining traction involves Conor McGregor and a potential fight that nobody really saw coming. After Dana White shut down talk of McGregor facing Michael Chandler at the White House event, speculation started to swirl around a different matchup altogether. A rumor began circulating about a possible Jorge Masvidal versus Conor McGregor fight taking place on that same card. While the origin of the rumor is unclear, things escalated when Masvidal's manager reacted to it on social media, and Masvidal himself added even more intrigue during an interview with MMA Junkie. He hinted that he's currently training for something big tied to the White House and described it as an opportunity he can't fully talk about yet. Masvidal suggested that within about 10 days there should be more clarity. That statement alone was enough to get fans talking. The idea of the UFC sidelining Michael Chandler to give McGregor a fight against Masvidal would certainly be controversial, but it would also be a massive spectacle. Both men are proven stars, and while it might not make the most sense competitively, it would undoubtedly generate huge attention. Whether this rumor turns into reality or fades away remains to be seen, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Moving on to an interesting, grappling-related story, Merab Dvalishvili recently revealed that he accepted a grappling match against Arman Tsarukyan that nearly came together on very short notice. A few weeks ago, Tsarukyan moved up in weight to compete in a grappling match, and once again showed why he's considered elite on the mats. According to Merab, he was contacted about stepping in to face Tsarukyan when it was believed that Tsarukyan's original opponent might be out. With only 3 to 5 days' notice, Merab said he accepted the challenge without hesitation, believing there was no chance Tsarukyan could submit him under submission-only rules. He explained that after reviewing the rules, he felt completely confident in his chances. Unfortunately, an issue with his nose reopening during training prevented the match from happening. Still, it left fans wondering whether this matchup could be booked again in the future and whether Merab's confidence is justified. Attention then shifted to UFC 326, where Max Holloway is set to face Charles Oliveira for the second time, with the BMF title on the line. Holloway is widely favored to retain the belt, but very few people are predicting him to win by submission, especially against someone as accomplished on the ground as Oliveira. Despite that, Holloway recently suggested that submitting Oliveira isn't out of the question. In a video shared by his team, Holloway joked that his coaches probably wouldn't be happy with him saying it, but noted that submitting a submission artist would be a truly BMF thing to do. He acknowledged Oliveira's credentials, but emphasized that anything can happen once a fight unfolds. If Holloway were to submit Oliveira, it would be a shocking moment, especially considering his last submission victory came all the way back in 2015. This fight will also mark Holloway's first appearance since July 2025, when he defended the BMF title by outscoring Dustin Poirier. Holloway didn't compete again last year due to a hand injury suffered in that bout, but he's since confirmed that he's fully recovered and feeling great. He spoke highly of his medical team and physical therapists in Hawaii, crediting them for getting him back to full strength. Looking ahead, Holloway also discussed what could come next if he wins at UFC 326. He floated the idea of potentially rematching Ilia Topuria later in 2026 if Topuria is still the lightweight champion. Holloway said that in a perfect world, he would win convincingly, create an undeniable moment, and then challenge Topuria with both the BMF title and an undisputed belt on the line. He acknowledged that their previous fight didn't have the title stakes fans might have wanted, but expressed interest in running it back under bigger circumstances. Elsewhere on the UFC calendar, a new main event has been officially announced. Rising featherweight Kevin Vassos is set to headline his first UFC card against longtime contender Josh Emmett on March 14 in Las Vegas. Vassos is coming off an impressive rookie year in 2025, where he picked up wins over Sun Woo Choi and Danny Silva before capping things off with a spectacular spinning back fist knockout of Giga Chikadze. Emmett, on the other hand, struggled in 2025, losing a decision to Lerone Murphy and then being submitted by Youssef Zalal. With Vassos ranked 13th and Emmett sitting at number 12, this fight represents a pivotal moment for both fighters at very different stages of their careers. There were also several additional fight announcements and updates across various divisions. Reports indicate that welterweights Ramiz Brahimaj and Punahele Soriano are set to clash on February 21 in Houston. Brahimaj is riding a 3-fight win streak and has gone 4-1 in his last 5 UFC appearances, while Soriano has also picked up 3 straight wins after rebounding from a rough stretch. Middleweights Azamat Bakoev and Trezian Gore are reportedly scheduled to meet on April 4 in Las Vegas. Bakoev is looking to bounce back after his first loss in years, while Gore appears to be in a must-win situation following back-to-back defeats. Lightweights Marwan Rakhimov and Harry Hardwick are expected to square off on the March 14 card, with Rakhimov making his UFC debut after an impressive showing on Dana White's Contender Series, and Hardwick looking to recover from a tough Octagon debut. There was also a concerning rumor involving Khamzat Chimaev that thankfully turned out to be false. Reports circulated suggesting that Chimaev may have been involved in a serious car accident, but multiple sources quickly confirmed that he is safe and at home. Both MMA journalists and people close to Chimaev shut down the rumors, labeling them as fake news. On the women's side, discussions have emerged about a potential interim bantamweight title fight between Amanda Nunes and Norma Dumont. With Kayla Harrison forced out of her fight against Nunes due to injury, Dumont's coach has argued that the division shouldn't be frozen and that an interim title bout makes the most sense. Dumont is currently on a 6-fight win streak and ranked 3rd, but questions remain about whether Nunes would be interested in fighting for an interim belt after coming out of retirement, specifically to face Harrison. There has also been speculation about Harrison's long-term future, particularly regarding whether cutting down to 135 pounds is sustainable for her moving forward. Finally, Joe Rogan sparked debate after calling out the UFC over fighter pay and discussing how he would change the sport if he were in charge. Rogan admitted that his ideas would probably be bad for business, but said he would pay fighters more and even eliminate the cage entirely, opting for fights on an open mat instead. While many fans agree with him on the issue of fighter pay, others believe some of his ideas would fundamentally change the sport in ways that might not be positive. It raises an interesting question about how the UFC would look if someone with Rogan's philosophy were calling the shots. That's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications, and let us know your thoughts on all these stories in the comments below. We'll see you all tomorrow.